Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Jersey and today we are gonna be building a boardwalk. Yes, a boardwalk. It came out of nowhere. So let's talk about what I'm doing right now. So while the character's working on this, I'm gonna be explaining what's happening. Okay, so originally all I was gonna do is connect this river to the other river. So we were gonna make kind of like a canal that the boats and jet skis and all that can go through here, so that way we can get in to the river that's around the town hall, right? And also I wanted this river to also connect the riverbank that we created when we were working in our museum. That way everything makes sense. We have water coming in from both sides and it's leading towards the museum, coming out, going towards the town hall, going towards the main part of the rivers of the Dinkum island. All right, so that's why we're working here. So what you're seeing right now is just before I go and connect it completely, I'm trying to go deep because I want the spawns of fish and anything that's supposed to spawn on water, I want it to spawn. There are gonna be some areas that I'm going to have to do it kind of more manually in the future. There's only so much that you can do to take it out with the machines, and then I know, and that won't be on video, don't worry about that. I'm gonna do that manually and it's gonna take a while, so I'm gonna work on that off camera. That way every single part of the dirt blocks that are gonna stay, they'll be gone completely. Okay, so that was the original plan, right? The original plan was to do this, create just a little bit of an entrance on the bridges, that way it doesn't just look just grass and bare. And then we were gonna move on to the coastal, right? Because everybody's excited to start the coastal town, and I'm so happy to hear that. I'm happy to see those coming. Everybody is just excited, you know. We're gonna start a new town layout, and who doesn't want that, you know? And especially for a lot of you that are working on a new island, it's gonna be a perfect time. So what ended up happening is I woke up the following morning when I was supposed to just keep working on this, just to finish this, and this idea came to my mind and I could not get it out of my head. And it was, what if I make a boardwalk that's connected to the river and that you can see and create this seating area? Because originally what was gonna happen was, you know, we have the road, we have the orchard, the road, sidewalk, and I believe I have like four spaces, and then you get to the river, and that was it. So originally what I was gonna do is just plant some trees, maybe some bushes, but I didn't want to fill it up because I want to be able to see across the river, right? And what's gonna be simple, and I kind of designed a little layout. I was working like on a kind of like a tree design, like just to have like a wavy tree line or something like that, different heights, and it was just gonna be very simple. But then I woke up and this idea of making a boardwalk came to my mind, that I was like, man, I think that will look really good in this area. So even though I'm doing all this work that you see right here, right now, about expanding the river, making these openings like this and all that will be gone in the future. Because once we start working on the boardwalk, I wanted to make it in a specific, for what I had, the width of what I had. But I had to end up making it wider, but we'll get on that when we get to that part of the video. But yes, so basically the idea moved from going from just making the river canal that's connecting to the museum right here and to the town hall, to a big canal, very wide, that's gonna go still connecting all of that, but also we're gonna have a boardwalk with a viewpoint very high, that in like you know when you go to some places and you go to a boardwalk, right? I could be at the beach, could be in a big river or anything like that, and you got like viewing spots, right? And some of them are just the same level as the boardwalk, and some of them like you can climb up, and sometimes there's like a lighthouse or somewhere, or like a tower, right? And then you go up there and then you have this nice view of something that they just want to show. It could be just the ocean, it could be a mountain, a horizon, or anything in that matter. So we created one. At the end of the boardwalk, we are gonna go, I forgot how many, 1, 2, 3, maybe six high or something like that. And we're gonna have this nice viewing of this view right here, but imagine it high. And you see the museum, you see this little deck area over here, you're gonna be able to see the river, and it looks really nice. So we work on that. And then in the middle of the boardwalk, we also gonna have kind of like a little extended section. So it looks like a little, kind of like a little pier, but it's only like 2 or 3 square more, right? And you can fish there. We also have benches, you can sit there. You also have a nice view, and you can see the bridge work and all that. And then we also, at the very beginning of the boardwalk, going down, we're gonna have another little tiny boat dock with 2 pillars where people can tie the jet ski, tie in the rowboats or anything like that. And of course we got fences. We're gonna put in the umbrellas and flowers, and it came out really good. And the ideas also came. I went ahead and went online and typed in boardwalks, and I wanted to get inspired what we're gonna get, and layouts, and which way I wanted to do my boardwalk, because there's big boardwalks, right? Very wide, very long, with a lot of stuff. There's also ones that are super, very minimal, very plain, that just may have benches and that's it. And so I went in a combination of not being too full but not too empty, but enough space that you can walk on both sides. And that was the idea. So right here, still I'm working on the original idea, that it was still just working on the river just to connect them. I think I got the depth that I want. I think we went down 1, 2, 3 or 4. If you were following the video, you can kind of in a way count them, but I think it's 4 deep, I want to say. And then pretty soon we're gonna, right here, we break, you see the water. It always looks so cool when you see the water just filling up. And I think I had it, and I'm like, okay, I'm making progress. We're doing good. This is gonna be a shorter video, just a little bit on the side, and that way I just kind of want to get this done so we can move on and start designing our coastal town. But then, you know, just like I talked in the beginning, this idea came, and I was like, oh, we can make a boardwalk. And I think as a design aspect, it was a good practice, because the boardwalk, I believe, in my thinking right now, that we're gonna have a few of them in the coastal town. So the idea of the coastal town is that it's gonna be, I've been looking at pictures, and I believe that I'm gonna be using a lot of boardwalks, decks, boat docks. I want to do a little more water in the area, so that's part of it. And I think this was a good practice run, and maybe that's a good thing that I was able to do this, because I was able to see what kind of old wood flooring with wood fences, everything will look like, because normally I've been using a lot of brick, cement, and hedges. So it was a good practice run. And that's how I'm looking at it. It's just a good way to practice. Okay, so now we're in the following days. This is when I woke up. This is the new outfit. You know, I've been wearing the same clothes for a long time. Have not changed my clothes in a long time, but just like, you know what? I'm going to the coastal area where it's sunny, we got sand, we're gonna work on all that area. So I wanted to look a little more summery, you know, a little more, you know, to fit the vibe of what we're gonna be working on. So right now, this is what I had in storage. I was able to do a combination, and I hope you guys like it. I finally look a little different compared with always wearing the same clothes that I've been wearing. Okay, so the boardwalk. So what I did, I went one level higher than the normal base level, right? Before you hit water, normal base level. So I wanted to see the height of the wood going down and hitting the water. You know, when you look at a boardwalk, and you normally boardwalks, of course, they have pillars. And so, but in Dinkum, we don't have pillars like that you can see. But I wanted to be able to see more of the wood going down into the water, and doing it, raising it higher. It gives it a little bit more height, so it looks like we but most decks or boardwalks are kind of elevated a little bit, and that's the idea. So we raised it a little bit, and then I use gumwood right now. I've been saving all my palm wood. I didn't try to see how palm wood will look, but I know we ended up using palm wood fence because it was the best fence that looked better for kind of like the boardwalk look that I wanted. So I did ended up using some of my palm wood already on this build, but a lot of the other one I'm saving it for the coastal town because I believe that I'm gonna be using a lot of it. So I didn't wanna, and maybe gumwood. Gumwood looks good right now. I did like it. I didn't try the palm wood. If you guys want to try it, and then let me know if it actually looks better or not. But right now I did use gumwood because I still had so many of that already in storage. It was very easy to be able to use that one and not to worry about my resources that I've been slowly collecting in my spare time. Or my wife right now, she's going crazy in her island just collecting palm wood. So very thankful for that. Okay, so right now what I'm working on is a little bit of the kind of a little arrangement just next to the bridge. Not too big, not too small, you know, but very, very basic. And basically what I try to do is use the flowers that naturally spawn right here, kind of in the desert area. So so usually you got those flowers right there in the front. And then I use the normal bush, I use the cactus as well, kind of like in the middle, and then more bushes. And then when they grow, it kind of just fill up the area. I didn't want anything too complicated. I just want it kind of easy and just easy to visualize, easy to see. I just put 2 trees at the end because I don't want all these trees to block the view to be able to see to the other side. And just very, very simple. Not too complicated compared with a lot of the stuff that I do. Very, very detail oriented. It's just very basic, let's put it that way, but simple enough that it's easy to follow. Once it's all grown, I will see if I 100% like it, and then we can kind of rearrange it a little bit. But you guys can do the purple, blue, any of the other flowers that you guys like in that arrangement if you're following exactly what we're doing here. Okay, so right now I'm counting how many spaces do I want. I'm thinking of the opening. How many openings I'm gonna have on this boardwalk. I just don't want to have one opening. I want to have at least 2, 3 opening, so that way we can have different entry points. And if you walk in the boardwalk, if you know, I know in Dinkum we can just jump the fence, but if I'm thinking kind of realistic, I want to be able to just walk and get out in different areas, not having to walk all the way down to one entry point. So I was able to manage to split it into 3 different openings. I believe each square is around 6 or 7, and then the opening of each opening entry is 4 squares. And ideally I was gonna put some lights and stuff like that we ended up putting lights, but then we ended up taking them off. So when that happens, don't get excited because the lights that I ended up putting first, they actually come our way. I didn't like them, didn't feel just right, so we ended up moving. Okay, so in every entry bridge point right now on the outside, not on the inside of the town hall area, but on the outside, it's gonna be the same arrangement. So we got 4 squares, we got the flowers, we got the bushes on the side, and since the first flower is red, so we're gonna go yellow, and then red, and then yellow, and then at the end here, since it's the yellow flower, I go with the red, and then 2 trees. And like I said, the idea is to have a little bit 2 trees just to make it look full. I think visualizing in my head, it looks good in my head. So once everything is full grown, I will know for sure if I like the trees. If I don't like the trees, it's gonna be very simple. We chop it down, we plant another sequence of the bushes so they can grow and match the other side. It just be in a different order, of course, and that be it. But right now, just looking at it, right, it gives it a little more entryway, more elegance, especially if you're walking down the orchard, right down the middle, then you see the double bridge, and then you had kind of more, still making it more official, right? More official. We're going towards the town hall. We're going where Fletch is at. You know, is It's like one of the most important buildings that we have. We get our deeds, we pay the debt, everything that gives life to Dinkum is right there. It's the town hall. So we want to make those entrances very, very elegant, very good, as much as we can. So these are the lights. I originally wanted to use them in here because a lot of boardwalks do have those type of lights, right? If you go to Google and you look into boardwalks, you see a lot of those lights. Or the other ones are like more normal lights, like street lights, like the one that you see right there. But I went a whole different direction, and we're gonna use the same lights that I used in the orchard, on the inside of the orchard. It gave a softer light that I wanted for the boardwalk. I love those lights that you see right there in front of the bank, right? But they're more like city, more for the sidewalk, more for the street. They're very bright. And what I wanted for the boardwalk was a very soft type of lighting, not too harsh. I just want to kind of create a vibe, a mood, especially when it gets dark. So that other light that we ended up using, it gives me that vibe, it gives me that feeling, it creates that mood that I feel like when at night, if you go with your friends, your family, and you go to a boardwalk, it just gives you that mood, right? And then if you have stores, if you have food and all that, it's just a very more like relaxing, more fun activities. It's not harsh, it doesn't hurt your eyesight, and that's why I decided to go with those lights. Eventually, if we ended up getting more lights in Dinkum and different update, different type of light posts, maybe we do eventually do an update and we can rearrange things. But for now, those were the best lights that, for my taste and for my explanation that I just gave, it worked. And like always, I always encourage you to guys follow along and then do your tweak. If you don't like those lights, if you don't like the color, you don't like it just doesn't fit your vibe, just go ahead and change it to another light post that you guys like. All right, and as I've been talking and explaining what's behind in my mind, right? What's going through my mind as I working on this stuff and why I was doing the decisions that I'm doing, I'm still just finishing some of these bridge works on the outside, because what I noticed is, I'm eager. I'm truly excited to move on to the coastal town. It's kind of like a new fresh start, right? It's like, it almost feels like I'm gonna start Dinkum all over again. Like, okay, I finally got the buildings, I finally unlocked the tools, and I got this, and now I can start creating my town. And that's the feeling that I get every time I think about the coastal town. But I realized that I still not 100% finished. Like this town, everything else is kind of completed, but this in front of the orchards, and it was still so bare, and I want to move on, but something in me is telling me, hey, you haven't, like, the front is not finished. Yeah, you created the orchard is done, and everybody's loving it, everybody's excited about it, everybody, you've been giving people inspiration to do their orchards in a whole different way and improve them, and we're thinking outside the box. But hey, the front is not done. Everything is still bare, and not everything has to be so detailed, right? I don't have to create this enormous thing, but right now it's still bare. And so, and the boardwalk idea, when it hit me, it wasn't meant to be done right now, but it worked out great. But now I'm facing a little situation that is now where the other side, after the boardwalk, you have the bridge, and then I have a bare spot right there still. It's all brown, right? There's nothing else there. It's just completely brown, and I don't know what to do there just yet. I may make it very simple. I may just fill it up with grass and just leave it like that, so I can move on to the coastal, unless an idea happens and I get this inspiration out of nowhere. Maybe I see something in real life. Maybe one of you guys give me a suggestion or a comment or something that will trigger an inspiration to put something there. In this part right here, you see it? It's just completely bare. Either I'm gonna go with grass and that's it, or something very simple that I have no idea just yet. Okay, so but that's that's my mind, right? It's constantly working, constantly trying to figure things out, trying to push the game, trying to push the limits of Dinkum. What can we do with the tools that we have? How far our imagination can take us, and 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 that's what, you know. It's just constantly working. It's one of those things that it's not stopping right now. Okay, so here I decided that I needed to go one more wide, because I saw this picture online of this boardwalk that it had like two-tone wood. Right at the middle of the boardwalk, it had this other type of wood just going down the middle, and down the middle in that boardwalk, that's where they had the benches and they had trash cans and just stuff that. And then on the sides, the back side and the front side, where the fences are, is completely empty. And that was my inspiration. That picture really made me decide, okay, I want to do that. But to do that look on the boardwalk with the different type of wood, I needed now to expand the boardwalk one more so I can have a middle. So when I do the pattern, it's just then I have a border on the two sides. But what that happened, and is the one thing that I didn't thought about, was, now my river is tiny, and I didn't like it. I wanted this river to be wide. I wanted to be, you know, like when you in the boardwalk and you look and you got this wide river. I wanted to look good, and I was like, oh no. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to really rework this river. I need to take out more. We're gonna and I didn't know how far to take it. So off camera, I brought the wife, you know, she sat right here next to me. We're staring at the screen and we just going back and forth. You know, I'm throwing all my ideas, all my suggestions. I'm like, okay, this is option number 1. This is option number 2, option number 3. And then I did some test patterns, you know, so off camera, you know, basically, and I think I have told you guys to do this trick in the past. Is more, okay, just start your day, just try things, you know, off camera, just and you can go crazy, you can go nuts, and then at the end, don't go to sleep, just go back to the main menu, and then restart the day. And basically everything you did is undone. You come back and load into the day that you're at, and you can start again. And we did a couple options like that, and everything worked out. The best way was just to take this whole chunk of part of the island, let's make it wide, let's take it almost right up to the other side decking patio that we see right there in front of the museum, and that's where we ended up at. It was just, let's just go big. My whole idea was always to make this canal that looks impressive, that looks big. And basically what I did that you saw earlier is I filled up part of the dirt and dug down so we can have the depth. And then I just have this little outline. That outline that you see, that only, I have to do that manually now, with, unless I fill everything with dirt, that I'm not gonna do. I think it'd still be quicker just bringing my wheelbarrow, or just making just taking there, put it on the other side, and use the compactor and just take it out. And all that line that you see here, and that part of the other island back there, you know, that you see, all that's gonna, we have to take all that out too, and all that will go away, and the whole river will be wide. But like I said, I'm gonna do that manually. It won't be on camera, it won't be part of a build, because it's just cleaning up. And cleaning up, I don't believe it's something that we need to have in videos to show, because I can just tell you what I'm gonna do, and then it'll be done in the future. And yeah, so right now, what are we doing in the boardwalk is we're gonna do that pattern that I saw of a real boardwalk. It looked cool. I kind of want to test it out, and basically, and this is why I needed to expand the boardwalk one more out into the river, one more tile, because to have a middle, and the middle, because I wanted the edges around the deck to be gumwood, and then the middle is gonna be dark wood. And for me, I like it, right? You guys may not like it, and if you want to keep it all the same tone, or if you want to use 2 different patterns, you want to use cement, you want to use any other tile, do it, or keep it all the same color. This is gonna be more about taste. This is gonna be more about what visually pleases you, and what you, when you look at it, if it makes you happy, if it brings a smile, then you do it. You know, this is gonna be always, when it comes to color combination, it's always gonna be about taste. Now the layout is something that I know you guys can use, but the combination of things is gonna be up to you. And right here is, this was, I didn't want to use my palm wood stock, you know, that we're being stocking up on palm wood material and all that, but this fence is the only one that looked and felt like a boardwalk, and I had to use it. It's just, it looked great, it felt great. I tried all the other fences, I tried different combinations, it's just none of them worked. So once we decided, and with my wife's blessing, after she looked at it, she agreed. Palm wood fence is the best one that looks like a boardwalk. After I go online and look at all these pictures, it really felt like it was meant for boardwalk. And maybe that's why it's palm wood fence. And maybe James already planned ahead of me, and he knew what he was doing when he created this one. And he's like, this is for the beach, this is for next to rivers, and he knew what he was doing. And that's what I'm gonna stick by and believe, that, you know, James knows what he's doing. But yeah, but palm wood, right? Palm wood is, for me, was the best fence. And just like I stated a little earlier, it's gonna be up to you guys. You pick the fence that you like the most. You may want no fence. There are some boardwalk that don't have fences, but they're, you know, I consider them not safe. And I'm going with safety, even though it's Dinkum, it's a game, right? We don't need it. Okay, so here, what we're doing right here is gonna be the boat dock. I was looking at a couple more boat dock pictures against piers or boardwalks, and they have like these pillars, right, where they tie their boats and stuff like that. And I thought that was so clever idea. And so I'm using the one that looks like a stone fence, but when you put it like that, they look like meant for that too. Like, they look like little pillars that you can use on the ocean, use on the rivers, and people tie their stuff, and it worked out perfect. And of course, and the steps, I'm using the gumwood steps because it matches the deck. I'm pretty sure that the palm wood step will look great too, but like I stated, I am saving on my palm wood right now because I have a feeling that I'm going to be using that a lot. I could be wrong, and then and the coastal sound may look totally different than what I'm envisioning right now in my head. But gumwood fence, it matched the deck, it looked great. So also, I forgot to talk about, but in front of the deck, right, I did do the cement fence, like that little fence. Instead of using the iron was too high and I didn't like it. But and then I actually have tried it, this build. I did a little test run without the fence in the front, without the hedges, and I don't know, I didn't like it as much. I do like having the hedges and a little, it just gives them a little more and a little more to the build, a little more design work, but it doesn't have to be there. If you don't like the hedges and the cement, you can just plant flowers, you can put flower beds, you can just leave it completely bare, you can put sand across all the edges. There's many decisions that you guys can do for this part of the build. That's gonna be up to you. A lot of the decorations is gonna be up to you, but if you're stuck, just follow along, put what you see that I do here or another version, and then you can tweak it in the future as you get more inspiration to it. Okay, so here I was working on like a little outlook. If you look at piers online, you know, they got these long piers, and then they have a little section that kind of stands out a little more outside of the dock, of the pier, and I kind of wanted to do that. Yeah, this boardwalk is not humongous, right? It's not really big, but I still wanted to add that touch, that feel to it. So it started small, then I spread it out a little bit wider, but I still didn't like having the benches too close like that. Like it's too close. I wanted a little bit more of a space. So what I ended up doing is, again, just making a little more wider, and then it felt more centered to the entrance of this opening. And now I got the space that I want, and now you have a seating area, and you also you can stand, and you can go to the right there in the front, and you can fish if you see something you want to fish. So the combination of everything worked out really great. And And as I'm working on this build, I'm getting really pumped because it's coming out. You know, I'm looking at these pictures, everything's coming out the way I want to. And then here was this part of the build right here was the risk factor. Is okay, I wanted to do a lookout point, a high point, and the reason that the boardwalk ended up to here, because I imagine walking up and getting to a little terrace on the top, and then you can view the museum. Now I was risking it because I'm hoping that when we do this build, you can actually stand in the front and the museum can spawn in, right? As we're looking at it, to get to that point that because right now, if you look in the background, look at it right now, you don't see the museum. So at this particular step that we're on, you cannot see the museum. The museum doesn't spawn into the camera just yet. So what ended up happening is, as I'm racing up and walking up, I didn't know how high I was going. This is why you see me doing it step by step. I had to keep going forward, so the lookout point actually extended outside to the river to the same point as the little viewpoint area in the bottom. So it's the same length, and by doing it like that, the museum boop, just appears, and it's such a nice view because now we do have like a little perspective view of a build that we have done on this place. So it gives you another appreciation of your work, not just at the museum, but everything that you see. It's just it's a nice thing, you know. You're walking the island, you're touring the island, you invite people to the island to come see it, and they got more things to see. And you see right here, there's the museum. It just appeared. Now we're in the right distance, so now I knew I don't have to go any far out, and I was hoping I didn't have to, because it will be, I'll be cutting down more of my river, and I didn't want that. So I'm thankful that everything worked out and it's the same distance as the one on the bottom. So now everything's cohesive. Everything seems like it was super planned out, even though this was not normal. I didn't plan this one out to like super perfection. I did wing a little bit there at the end, especially this part right here. But it worked out great, and now we have this view. You can kind of see the courtyard on the side. We got the great view of the museum and everything that we have done, and you can see the riverbank of the museum, and it's just great. And now it's just making it safe, right? Is if we're thinking realistic, we're thinking that when you go to a high point, there's still fences, everything's secure, you're walking up the stairs. So now it was just what we needed to do. And I noticed that I was just a little bit off. So I felt like I was a little off on the very top. Like I got more room on one side where the stairs, and then on the other side it's a little short. So I ended up expanding just a little more to the side because I need to make like this little safety for the stairs, and put a fence right there so like you don't fall off. And then do a little more over here, put more fence again. Then we're gonna close it on this side. So, and then this side now tied in towards the rest of the boardwalk. So it worked out great. So I did enjoy that. It just everything fell into place, and it wasn't just like didn't fall or like, oh no, and now I need to retweak it. Even though it wasn't planned, because this part right here was, as you saw it, I was building it on the spot. I didn't have no guideline, I didn't plan it, I didn't know how many squares I was gonna use. It was very just winging it at the moment. So the other idea that I had is like, oh, I can go ahead and continue the boardwalk design down the middle, that it falls in the same thing. So I went ahead and put all the dark wood kind of where it falls, and it just gives that look. Now the stairs are still gumwood. I didn't go and make the dark wood stairs yet. So, and I haven't decided if I want to keep it gumwood. If I'm being honest, right now it kind of looks cool because you got like this color, then the stairs are different colors, but you can see it from underneath it. Sometimes you can look into the cracks of the stairs and you can kind of see the dark. So it's gonna be your choice, right? You can go dark, you can go light, you can do everything palm wood if you want it, you can do everything gum wood. I'm gonna let you guys choose which way and coloring you want to do. So here I wanted to make it equal size, right? I wanted the same length that I had on one side, I want it here. But then I didn't like it. I didn't like when you come into this entry, you just have a wall and it's just blocking part of the view. It's just a feeling, but it just didn't feel right. And I was like, oh no, now I need to undo all this. And I was like, no, it's just gonna take forever because now I had to do it all manually. So I kind of wanted, okay, I just need to go then one more. I knew I wanted to go one more out. At least that way I just, even against the river, the edge of the river of the opening in the museum. So I knew I wanted to make that. But the rest that you see now, that is just dirt, all that we're gonna take it off manually. You know, I had to, you know, do it by shovel, take it off. I did as much I could with the compactor, but the rest I had to just do it manually, take it off. And that way, because I needed to see exactly the view, just to see if I needed to do something else different. So, and that's gonna be, you know, and it took a moment. It wasn't the best and happy moment on my build, because it's like, oh no. But this is what it's about. You know, your ideas come in, you gotta test them out, you gotta try to build them, and sometimes they just don't work the way you intended, and then you gotta do the unhappy part of building is to undo something. And so right here I'm just moving the dirt all manually and taking it out. But once I took all that out, and then you use the opening and you going up the opening, then you see that little open space, and it felt right. And that's what I was looking for. And one thing that I want you guys to understand is a lot of this is feelings, you know. At least as you get to keep watching my channel, as you get to keep seeing my thinking behind my builds, a lot of time is a feeling, is something that when you're looking at it, you know it doesn't look right, you know if you like it, you know if it's gonna be your style, you know if the rearrangement of the color feels right. And this is why it's so important for you guys to understand a lot of this stuff, not the structure of the build, but the decoration, the item layout in a particular build. A lot of that can be subjective. A lot of that can be depending on who you are, you know, and how you view things and how you like the items. You know, I may use an item that I'm in love with, that you guys probably can guess. What's my favorite fence? It's gonna be the hedges, right? The hedges is one of my favorites, and there's something about the hedges, about that greenery, about that style, that sometimes it brings some of my builds to a level that for me, I feel like, yes, this makes it complete. But for you, it could be the iron fence. For you, it could be the gumwood fence. For you, it could be the darkwood fence. You know, your favorite street light could be a whole different light than one that I use. So when it comes to that, when it comes to this layout, it's gonna be always up to you. You know, my builds are to inspire you. My build is to help you if you're stuck, that hopefully this build will inspire you to do something, or to have a starting point, and then from there you're gonna branch out and create something unique, and like I always say, better than what I can. Okay, so right here you saw me for a little bit right here working on this light. I was just looking for the right spot where when I placed that light, because it was still a little dark in that corner, but too close to the wall, it was just very bright against the wall. It just was creating this even warmer temperature. And then when I put it too far out, it was a little too far out. I just was moving that particular lamp into, I found the right spot, but also that looked good, and I was able to find the spot, and then I was happy. I was like, yes, that part of the build is done. Okay, so guys, we're getting very close to the end of the video. I know this was a long one, but I noticed that this bridge that we're looking at, I couldn't see the end. I'm like, all these trees are blocking my view. They're blocking the structure. Now I have a boardwalk. I want to see it. And now when you look at it, ta-da, you can see the full bridge. I just cut down all the big ones and left just the short ones, all the fruit trees, because I just didn't want it to be completely bare. I didn't need it to see the whole structure, but I kind of wanted to see the bridge completed. And then like always, there's always normal spawn things that are growing. So I went ahead and cleared those trees because my goal is for all that grass that kind of grows in those mud piles. I want that grass to keep growing, but until the actual grass spawns, sometimes I get those trees that just grow and I just gotta cut them, and hopefully at some point we get more grass. And that part is a very slow process. There's nothing that I can do to speed it up that I know of. It's just very random. So every time I see a tree that grows, I need just to cut it out. So hopefully more of that grass will keep growing in the future, because I want that natural grass like seaweed or whatever it is that's growing in the rivers. It just looks really nice. But it's a process that if you're doing it too, it's just constantly cleaning up, and you're like, oh, I just got another tree spawn there. Let's just cut the tree, and hopefully the next time eventually will become the type of spawn of grass that you want to appear there. Okay, so we're finally getting closer. We are now clearing this part of the river. So we're making the part that I want to be deep, and then the shallow part, I'm just gonna match it up to the natural shallow that Dinkum already generated for me. So instead of making it all deep all the way to the end, I just made it kind of the same way. And then here, eventually I gotta do all this manually again, right? All that I'm gonna clear it manually, and then I'll show you at some point. We just do a little walkthrough just to show you how it looks when it's completely out. But like I said, all that's gonna be off camera, and that's how we're gonna do it. Right here, I'm just trying to match a little bit of the same opening that I have on the other side, so it's like the river just connects and then goes into this canal, and it goes down and it goes into the museum, or it goes into the river that circles the town hall island. And yeah, so now look at that view. It just brings a smile to my face. You don't know that when you're working, and I know you guys are building, and you don't know how everything's gonna look at the end until you get to it. But when you get what you want, in a way, it's such a good feeling, right? There's nothing when you finally accomplish a build you envision, and sometimes you go through the trouble of tweaking it and working with it and moving things along and just rearranging, and things are not working out. But when you get to the final product, it's such a relief. And seeing everything that we have built so far on the island from far away, and sitting right here, and you can see that everything is spawning still over there. You can still see the museum in certain angle. You see all the bridge work, the high ones, the low ones, the tree line way in the back. It's a good feeling, and I'm glad that this inspiration came out of nowhere, because I just woke up and I was like, Boardwalk. But it's such a great accent to our build, to our town, and I think it's gonna be really good for you guys, because if you don't use it right now, it's gonna be something great you guys will be able to use in the future. But here we are. Once again, we finished another build, the Boardwalk, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys like this build. I know we are all excited about the coastal town, and that's coming. We're gonna do that very, very soon, and I'm ready to start a new layout. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit a like, subscribe if you wanna see more videos, and we're gonna see you next time. Alright, see you later. Bye.